I would like to say the market is concerned, but as your other guests have said, especially Rick, I mean, unless there is a real structural change, this pullback is a buying opportunity.
Com Lee dives into today's market action, where smart money's moving, top buying zones, and key insights. Let's watch and learn.
It shows you that investors are seeking protection. Um, and as you know, the VIX is a measure of expected volatility of the largest 100 stocks. And so a spike in the VIX is really a market saying, okay, I need to get out of everything, but I can't sell everything. So let me hedge it by buying volatility. And that is usually a sign of an interim low. I mean, I don't want to say I think markets are bottoming today, but we know that the forward returns are pretty good 1 month and even 1 week later. So I would say if someone says, are we higher a week from today? I'm going to say the odds are actually really good. Or, we might even be 60 points higher.
Well, wow. But that's happened. That's what's been happening, as we talked about earlier in the show, Tom, that we've seen these buy the dip buyers come into the market. We get a day like today, the dip buyers come in, we're higher a week later. Do you expect that to happen again, absent some further escalation with China?
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible, Brian, and I think that the markets lived through this February to April, and it was a day by day panic, and maybe there's echoes of trauma people are thinking about, and we do know that this, these are important issues. So I wouldn't want to be glib in saying, hey, this is nothing, because the market is making a big move. But to me, if I said, okay, what are the reasons stocks have been attractive for the past 12 months? It's been about the innovation coming from AI, and it's the innovation as Wall Street looks onto the blockchain, and now it's the Fed that's beginning an easing cycle. These three things have structural tailwinds that aren't disrupted because of potential even rare earth dispute with China.
Do you want to see the market not end on its lows? We're not on our lows right now.
Well, it's Friday. And it's a long weekend. So as you know, a lot of people like to shut down their computers. So I wouldn't be surprised if we might see the market close on its lows. But to me, I don't think it's a signal. As you know, markets rarely bottom on Fridays anyway. So maybe Monday is the flush, but then, that's the buying opportunity.
The crypto market faced one of its toughest weeks this year as billions vanish overnight. Bitcoin plunged to $1,687, tumbling over 11% from its peak, while altcoins like Ethna, Mantle, Filecoin, and Double Zero suffered even sharper losses. The overall market value slipped to $3.7 trillion, with over $20 billion in liquidations during the weekend, a true bloodbath for investors. The crash stemmed from rising geopolitical tensions between the US and China. Beijing's new restrictions on US imports and chip technology, alongside Trump's retaliatory tariffs, sparked fear across global markets. This anxiety spread quickly to crypto, pushing the Fear and Greed Index deep into fear territory as investors rushed to sell. Despite the chaos, Bitcoin has already rebounded above $111,000, and altcoins like Zcash and VeChain are surging again. While some fear this could be a temporary dead cat bounce, optimism remains that easing tensions, potential US-China negotiations, and upcoming Fed rate cuts could help crypto roar back to life soon.
All right, so let's bring in another big macro market voice. You know him, Tom Lee, co-founder, head of research at Fundstrat. Tom, it's only one day. We get it. We're still, the bull market we heard earlier, still intact. But your take on today's move and what may lie ahead?
Well, Brian, it may be overdue to an extent. We've had a nice rise of 36% since the April lows, and I believe today's decline is the biggest in more than 6 months. But it's good to see the VIX spike. The VIX spiked at 1.29% today. That's the 51st largest ever spike in the VIX. So we're a top 1% move in sort of what I'd say the market seeking safety. And so I think it's a good flush that's happening today. I would like to say the market is concerned, but as your other guests have said, especially Rick, I mean, unless there is a real structural change, this pullback is a buying opportunity.
The crypto world just went through one of its biggest shocks yet. Over $19 billion was wiped out in just 24 hours, as Bitcoin tumbled from $122,600 to $107,000, marking a steep correction from its record high earlier this month. Futures traders were hit especially hard, with over $11 billion in open positions liquidated, the largest single-day wipeout in Bitcoin's history. Amid the chaos, NBA legend Scottie Pippen stepped in with a message that caught the crypto community's attention. Don't give up your Bitcoin. Pippen's advice comes as long-term holders offloaded 240,000 BTC in the past month, sparking fears of a prolonged downtrend. Yet, his words hint at confidence in Bitcoin's long-term value, reminding investors that everyone is going to want your Bitcoin. While analysts warn that the next 48 hours are critical, Bitcoin has already bounced back above $112,000. For now, patience not panic seems to be the game plan. Hidden deep within Bitcoin's history lies one of crypto's greatest mysteries, Satoshi Nakamoto's untouched fortune. Between 2009 and 2011, the anonymous creator mined around 1.1 to 1.5 million BTC, now worth over $100 billion. None of these coins have ever moved, fueling endless curiosity. Some believe the keys are lost forever, while others think Satoshi deliberately chose silence to protect Bitcoin's independence and avoid shocking the market. If those coins ever moved, the impact would be enormous. Prices could swing violently as traders panic or speculate about the motives behind the move. It might shake investor confidence, or conversely, prove Bitcoin's resilience as a decentralized system. Beyond market chaos, such a shift could trigger regulation, redistributing wealth, or even funding massive projects. Yet, the most likely scenario is that Satoshi's Bitcoin remains still. Its dormancy keeps the legend alive, a reminder that Bitcoin's greatest mystery is also its strongest symbol of trust. If you have been watching so far, thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoinzilla for daily news all for free. That's all for today's video. Until next time,